Hello, friends. Welcome to another Stamp With Me Thursday. Not Stamp With Me Thursday, Thursday Night Live. That's what we're doing tonight. Tonight, we are going to do some really simple watercoloring because we are watercoloring die cuts to create a tropical beach themed card. Now, the stamp set this is based on, and actually, we're only using one sentiment from this stamp set. We're not using any of these cool images, but it is the beach day stamp set, and we're going to use the dies that coordinate with this to do most of the work for us tonight. Really excited to jump into this project. But before I do, welcome to everyone who is watching me live. This video might look like it is live, but as many of you know, I am on vacation, so it is not live. It is pre-recorded. It's not even evening where I am. I'm enjoying my coffee this morning instead. But if you're here watching live, I love that you're watching live. Leave me a shout out. Let me know where you went on vacation this summer. If you're watching the replay, special welcome to you. I love that y'all come back and watch the replay later. Leave me a comment. Let me know where you went on vacation this summer. Maybe you missed the live because you were on vacation. Who knows? If this is your first time here, welcome. I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. And I am here to help you reconnect with your inner artist, which is totally what we're going to do today, because this watercolor technique definitely makes you look like an artist, but it's super simple, super simple. And that's what I love. I love those techniques that make you look really fancy, but they aren't hard. So we're going to use some stamps, ink, and paper to create some beautiful cards. Let's get started. Enough with the chit chat. I'm going to go ahead and make my workspace look just a little bit bigger. Let me see. Nope, this one here. Flip this around so we get the workspace in the right screen. There we go. And we can see I already have out a couple of water painters. These are like watercolor brushes in a marker, kind of. So they have a watercolor brush on the end, and then there's actually water in the barrels of these. And we'll talk about those in just a minute. I also have out the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, which is my favorite for doing watercoloring. I'm going to pull out one of these sheets. Now these sheets are, let me see, they are, I think, 5 by 7 inches. And so I really like to work with a 3.5 inch size, which is what the base is going to be. The base is going to be 3.5 by 4 3/4. But I'm going to cut another one because some of the die cut pieces we need to kind of be that size. So that's what I'm going to do first. So I am starting with a piece. This is 3.5 by 5. I just cut it in half. Like I said, they're 3.5 by 7. So I love to just cut them in half and use them that way. Now, let's actually, before I get into that, let's talk about the color scheme I'm using today, because it is gorgeous. It is so, so pretty. Check this out. Look at it. It's so summery. It is so summery. So we have Summer Splash, Granny Apple Green, Lemon Lime Twist, Crumb Cake, and Pool Party. Just gorgeous blues and greens with a little bit of brown in there. When I do watercoloring, some people like to kind of squish their ink pads and get the ink, in here on the lid and use that. Oh, I have a hair. Surprise, surprise. They like to get the ink in there and use that for their watercoloring. Personally, I'm not a fan. That is not my favorite way to do it because I find it's hard to clean up and I don't want that mess all inside my ink pad. So instead, what I do is I use clear blocks, and I just take my ink pad. We're just going to take this and I just squish it on there, and I get some ink right on there. Super easy. I am using my glass mat tonight, so when I make a mess, I can clean it up. Although I just realized, so this is the chamois that comes with the glass mat, and mine is nice and dry. It was wet yesterday, but this is so thin, and I don't have it in any sort of a case or anything, that it dries out so quickly, and I totally forgot to wash it off, or to re-wet it. But that's okay. I'm just going to use my regular chamois to clean up if I need to. All right. So I have some crumb cake on here. I need to make some brown to cut the sand with. What we're going to do is, for each of these today, we are watercoloring the paper, and then we're going to die cut it. Super easy. So we're really just making some fun watercolor paper. So I'm going to start. One thing you should know about the water painters is that the barrel unscrews the wrong direction. So if you need to get out water, you actually are going to turn it the opposite way of what you think. It is not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It is righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. Anyway, I just got a little bit of water. I put that on my block. I'm also going to come in here and I'm going to get my paper nice and wet. I'm just going to kind of do the bottom of it over here. Getting that nice and wet so the ink will run around on there. So now I'll go ahead and just tighten that back up. Come over here and grab some brown. And I want this to be fairly light. It's sand, right? So I'm just coming in and I'm just going to swish some swishes on there. I'm going to put some lines. And that's looking pretty good. Now, if I want to, you can take it and kind of pick it up, and that's going to let that ink just roll around on there. I want to get all the way to the edges because I'm going to need the whole edge. But that is looking pretty good. I think I need a little bit more, though. I'm looking at what I got, and I think we need a little bit more. So we'll just continue this up here. Make sure we have enough to cut all our pieces. I'm going to come in and just add a little bit so we get some variation. Because that's the fun of watercolor, right? If it was all one color, I just cut it out of cardstock. All right. There we go. We have a nice watercolor piece. I'm going to try to clean out this brush a little bit. If you've been around for a while, you have seen my watercolor, my watercolor receiving blanket. I really need to take this down and get it in the washing machine because it is just covered. Every time I use it, it's like, let's look for a little spot that's less gross than the others. But I like to use this to clean out my brush. All I'm going to do is just push a little bit of water and then I hold onto the brush tip and pull it out. This is going to help pick up any extra color that's in there and keep it from getting sucked back into the barrel. Did you see how all those bubbles came up? If you push it down and the water gets out, it likes to suck it back up, which means you can end up with this entire barrel of water being brown or blue or green or whatever color you're using. So that's why I like to use a chamois. For me, it's a receiving blanket. All right, we're going to do the other half of this. We need to make some to cut out a little bit of water. So I'm going to go ahead. This is my summer splash. Just going to scoop that on there as well. Slide this down just a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do this at the top up here. And I'm going to try to keep the water from hitting each other. There we go. The actual water, not the fake water that I'm making. So just pick some of that up and we're going to make some blue. And again, I'm just adding it in, putting some lines on there, letting it run around and do what it wants to do. Oh, that looks so pretty. Doesn't that look very watery? I love that. All right, we're going to stop right there. I'm going to try to clean out my brush again because look how blue it is. And I don't want to get that blue in my barrel if I can help it. So I'm going to push out some water. While I'm pushing it, I'm just pulling it out. Push out some more water. I'm trying to get this so it's not blue anymore. All right. It's going to pull some in, but hopefully we got a bunch of it out. Hopefully it's just sucking air and not water. All right, there we go. That's pretty good. All right, now you can just set this aside and let it dry. But if you want to speed up the drying process just a little bit, you can zap it with your heat tool, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be careful not to let my sand run into my water because it's pushing the actual water on my page around just a little bit as it dries, before it dries, I should say. I'm going to dry this all up. And I know you're not going to be able to see this on camera, but I can kind of tell. I can see where it's wet and where it's dry. So we'll just dry this up. but not all the time. You can't always see where it's wet and dry. It's looking pretty good. Let's see. Yep, it's still kind of wet, but we're going to set this aside. It'll dry a little bit more as we do the next piece because we need to do another piece. So I'm going to take the other half that I cut off my table just a little bit. Here's the other half I cut. Now we need to make some green pieces. We're going to do this whole thing in green because we need to be able to cut out the palms on our palm trees and a little bit of grass. So we want to get some green. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the lemon lime twist and push these clear blocks out of the way. We're going to grab some lemon lime twist. I'm going to put lemon lime twist on one side, on one edge. And then I'm going to use my granny apple green. And I'm going to come over here and do a little granny apple green. So I got some granny apple green and lemon lime twist on there. I'm actually going to grab a different brush, although this one's kind of blue too. Oh, see, look, there's blue water coming out of that one. I do not want it. Let's see what that's this one. I don't know if you can see that. This is like out of camera here, but see how I just pushed that one and it had blue water coming out. I do not want to get blue. Oh, that's still kind of blue, but less blue. All right. So, and I want to come on here. We're going to add a whole bunch of water. Again, I always wet down my paper. The wetter your paper is, the more the color is going to run around. The drier your paper is or your brush is, the less the color is going to run around. So if you want to make details or something, you want to use a pretty dry paper and a pretty dry brush. If you want those colors to run all over the place, then it needs to be wet, 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 wet. All right, so I'm going to start with the lemon lime twist, and I'm just going to come in and just brush over this again. So easy, so easy. So just adding some lemon lime twist in here, getting all the way to the edges of my paper. Looking pretty good. And now we'll come in and grab some granny apple green. And I'm going to add some granny apple green in here too. And again, I'm just kind of doing lines, going wherever we want to get a little bit of both. And it doesn't even have to be lines. You can come in and do circles, whatever you want to do. I just kind of want to get a variation of color on here, because that's what's going to look nice when we cut these out. And you can take this up again if you want to. You can, if it's wet enough, the color will run and give you kind of that runny look. Let's pick some water up from my glass mat. All right, that's looking pretty gorgeous. Look at that. What do we think? Maybe just a little bit more granny apple over here. If I want a really dark granny apple, I could come in with a drier brush. Again, that's going to give you a darker color. But I really like this. This is looking good to me. All right, so we're gonna zap this with our heat tool again. I'm gonna try to get some of this green ink out. So just pushing that water and then holding on, getting the water out of the brush tip before I let go of the barrel, so that when the barrel pulls air back in, it's just pulling air and not so much water. Oh, that's looking pretty good. All right, let's zap this with our heat tool. And this is pretty wet, so this might take me a minute. Let me know what you're thinking. Y'all, this is why normally I am live, because I love to see your comments. Not hear them. I can't hear them. I can only see them. But I love to see your comments about what I'm doing. And when I'm not live, I don't get to see those. But I will come back later and I'll look. Definitely let me know what you're thinking. I'm going to get this nice and dry. It was really wet, so I really want to get in here and dry it up. And do the back a little bit too, because it's got It exploded onto the back from my clear mat. It's okay. No problems at all. No worries. There we go. All right. We have one more little bit of watercolor to do before we start cutting. All right, we're just gonna wipe up my glass mat a little bit. I'm gonna grab my regular pink black chamois and just wipe that up. This is why the glass mat is great for doing watercolor. All right, now remember the color scheme at the beginning. We have one more color we haven't used. That is some Pool Party, and that's what I'm going to use on this last one. I'm going to go ahead and just put this on the block with the Summer Splash. It'll be okay. And I have a piece of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. This piece, I've cut it down just a little bit, so it's 3.5 by 4 3/4, because it is going to create the background. Let me check and see how my water's doing. It's looking pretty good. All right, so we're gonna wet this whole thing again. Ooh, it's a little bit green, but hopefully that's okay. I probably should have done this piece first because it's like the lightest, but we're just gonna add a whole bunch of water in here. And then we'll add in the Pool Party. And the Pool Party, I'm going to do very, very lightly. So just adding a little bit with lots of water, because we just kind of want to get that sky looking. This is going to be the background. There we go. This is going to be the bottom, so we don't need to go over there. I'm going to make sure we go all the way to the edges, though. So there we go. We just have kind of a very, very light blue going. And I'm going to hit this with my heat tool as well, and then we're going to get started cutting. So now, if you need any of the supplies for doing this watercoloring or for making this card, you're going to find all of the supply lists over on my website on the blog post. And the link to the blog post is in the description to the video, as long as I get it written. Hey, what happened? I don't know what happened with my phone there. Let's flip this around. Sorry about that. All right. So there's my background piece. Now we have all the pieces. We're going to start doing some die cutting. I'm going to get all this inkiness out of the way. Just move this someplace carefully. There's going to be a mess on my desk. I know there is. All right. Let's get out my cutting plates. So I'm going to use my big plates. I have, of course, have the number 1 and the number 2, and then I have my bottom number 3, which is all torn up, but that's okay. And I'm going to grab my Beach Day dies. Check out how many dies are in here. I don't know what's going on with my phone. I don't know what's going on with my phone. It's being goofy. All right. Check out how many dies. Holy smokes. There are 21 dies in there. It is a huge die set. So there are the open dies to cut out the images. But then there are all the dies to like make the scene with die cuts only. So it's very cool. Here's the one for the beach, for the sand. We're going to use that. And the one for the water, we're definitely going to use that one as well. We also need this little bit of grass and the trunk of the palm tree. And then there's 2 palm trees. And I realized the other day that these are not the same. Like I thought these were the same. I was like, oh, there's just 2 of them. No, they go different directions. Like they're not the same. So there's 2 different ones. All right. Set this dies aside. Let's pull out this right here. We're going to start by cutting our sand in our waves. Now this one, it's confusing me. This confuses me all the time. It cuts along this edge. So these open bits down here that currently have paper stuck in them, they're going to cut out somewhat. But those, yeah, this is the edge it cuts. This edge is where it's going to stay square. So I'm going to put this edge up here. Let's hope I'm saying that right. Let's hope I'm remembering correctly. All right, we're going to put this edge up here to make our water. And then the sand, now again on the sand, it cuts on this line right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this way down here, and we'll cut it here. All right. That is all that's going to fit on here at this point. We're going to put the other number 3 plate on. I'm going to cut this with my cut and emboss machine. Slide that through. All right. Here we go. So here's the water. Check this out. So see how it cuts off the top. And then these bits right here will poke out. So they come loose. Probably should run this through twice. Because it's still just a little bit damp, it doesn't cut quite as well as it normally would. But it does come out. There we go. And then this one over here. Plus this paper is extra thick. There we go. So there's our water. Very cool looking water. And then here is one piece of the sand. One piece of the sand. I'm going to go ahead and cut here, and then we're going to cut this in half. So I'm going to do this one like this. Actually, no, we're going to do it like this. Because then what I'm going to do is I will come in with my paper trimmer, and we will cut this in. We'll cut this in pieces once we get done. So we have a couple pieces here. But I want this to be different than the one below. Just, you know, talking myself over here. There we go. Let's see if we can do some of the green as well while we're on here. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do, oh, shoot. Shoot. I forgot to make the pieces. I forgot. We needed one more color. We needed a little pecan pie to do the pieces for the trunks. We're going to have to come back. Ah, I thought I was done watercoloring. All right. Well, I'm going to slide this piece of green on here. And we'll watercolor some of the extra brown after I cut it. So now I'm just going to grab my palm tree pieces, my palms, slide these on here. I also have some grass. I wish there was more than one grass, but there's not. There's just one. So we'll run this through. We're going to have to run this through a couple times because we need a few pieces of grass. So we have plenty of time to cut our palm tree trunks that I forgot to color. All right. Oh. There we go. Now we have that one. We have this. We have some grass. We have some palms. Look how cool these look when they come out. So you get that variegated color on there. So pretty. So much fun. And everyone's a little bit different. So there we go. And we have the grass. I'm just going to cut this piece in half. So we have 2 different pieces of beach to use because I want 3 pieces of sand. We're going to do some layering. So there we go. We got a couple pieces of sand. We're going to kind of layer up like that. And we need to make, before I cut more green, let's come back. Let's come back and make our, what do I want to say? Make the pecan pie. The tree trunks. The tree trunks. That's what we need. All right. So we'll put a little pecan pie on there. We'll re-wet this. This isn't green. Oops. Just wet that down again. Pick up some pecan pie. Slide that. I should have done it this way. Because then the stripes would be going in the right direction. do it this way. Look at this. I mean, not very much stripes. It's all going to mush together, but you know what I'm saying. So just keep layering that up. You can see as my brush gets drier, we get more definition. So there we go. We got some nice pecan pie going on right there. All right, set this aside. Let's zap this with my heat tool, and then we can cut out the rest, get our cutting done. See, I'm going to lose all those stripes. They're going to mush as I dry this. If you let it air dry, you kind of keep more. Just push those off. It's okay. It's still going to look cool. We kind of got a big blob of water that did weird things there, but it's okay. Not a big deal. Because you die cut the pieces, the watercoloring, whatever you do, it's going to look good. Whatever you do. That's the beauty of this technique. All right, here we go. So come in here, let's cut a tree trunk. And then I'm going to bring the green back in because we're going to cut some more palms and some more grass. Getting all the good stuff in there. All right. So let's run this through. We're going to do this one more time after this. All right, running this through my cut and emboss machine. Here, let's see if we can put this on here. There we go. We'll watch it go through the cut and emboss machine. Soup, soup. But really, you just get my hand. There we go. It's coming out the other side. So I don't normally bring the big one over here. It's just too big for the camera. All right. So there's 2 more of the palms and 1 more of the grass. I want 1 more grass, I think. Oh, at least 1 more, if not 2. Maybe we will have to do this 1 more time. And then here is 1. We're going to do 2 of those. Let's grab another grass, at least 1 more grass. Run this through again. And we might grab just 1 more grass because I feel like I'm maybe not going to quite have enough. I think I need 4. I think I need 4 grass pieces. All right. Slide this through. I'm putting this back on the shelf, though. That's called experiment failed. All right. This is stuck in here, so we'll grab take your pick tool and take your pick it, pop it out. There we go. So those are done. Let's cut 1 more grass. So pretty. So pretty. Let's do that one down here. Let's do it over here. That's the thing. You can kind of play with, do you want it darker? Do you want it lighter? Do you want to cut it, so you get a little bit of both? You have some flexibility. All right. Let's start building our ocean scene. Pull this off. I'm going to grab my little, there's our last one of that. I grab my little bowl to put my dies in. The little dies so I don't lose them. And I'm pulling back in. Let's take a breath. All right. I'm pulling back in the sky piece. I'm going to lay these out. Kind of do. You know what? I want this just a little bit darker. So I'm going to come in. I'm going to grab my That's a giant mess. I'm gonna grab a different block because that is way too messy. I'm gonna grab just a little bit more Summer Splash. Because I just want to add, I feel like I just want to add in a little bit. I want it to be just a little bit brighter. Oops. So grab some water. And I'm using a pretty dry brush here. I'm just adding in a little bit more Summer Splash. So it's just a little bit brighter. More of a difference between the sea and the sky. Just going to add it to those cut lines and along the top. All right. Underneath. That's looking pretty good. I'm just adding a little water to kind of mush it out. It was getting a little too much. All right, there we go. Just kind of made that just a little bit darker. It wasn't quite where I wanted it, which is the fun. You can do that. I don't think I'm going to worry about, well, let's zap this just a little bit. This is a long process. Not hard. Again, nothing is hard. Some things just take more time. All right. So now I'm going to kind of see what my pieces, see where they're going to go. Because you notice I didn't cut them all the way down to the bottom. So I kind of have to figure out where we need to start, because we're going to start midway up. But we need everything to kind of work out. So this one is going to go in the center. I like to make sure that my sand is going every other one, like it's not on the same side. So, all right. So here is sand and sand and sand, and then we need our ocean kind of right in there. All right. So that's what we'll do. There we go. I'm going to start by adhering my ocean to the front. Kind of scary to have to glue down the one in the center. So I'm just going to stick my finger right here. So I kind of know. Put some green glue on the back of this. Try to stay away from the open bits, but I do want to make sure that the top gets stuck down. And we'll come back in and put that where my finger was. And just make sure that's straight and it's to the edges. Now you could make this extra long if you wanted to, and then you could slice off the sides to make it a little bit easier. I just decided to do it this way. All right, here is beach piece number 1. Put that on here. Here comes some sand. So we gotta have sand at the ocean, right? So there we go. Now, sand piece number 2. Hopefully I don't have to pull this apart when I get done. Hopefully I get the spots right. It happens. Sometimes you got to recut or pull things apart. There we go. There's my gourd. Oh, that's not. Push that over just a little bit. There we go. All right. Oh, that's going to work. Come in with our third piece. And there we go. We have 3 bits of sandy beach. So pretty. So pretty. There we go. All right. Now we're going to start building our palm trees. I'm going to put the first palm tree back here. And oh, you know what I forgot to do? When I did this before, I only put glue around the bottom edges and the sides of this, so I could kind of slide my palm trunks in there, and I totally forgot I had done that. Silly me. Put just a little green glue on here. Let's see if I can still pop it in there. There we go. Yeah, just slide it down a little bit. If you have to, you can cut them. There we go. There is tree number 1. And then this one is going to go here. So we kind of get two trees leaning slightly not the same way. A little green glue on the palm trunk. And this, of course, gets glue on my hands, but that's okay. Lean this one over more. There we go. So pretty. Actually, I'm gonna, can I slide this one in a little bit? Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna just snip this. I want this one to be just a little bit shorter. I'm just gonna cut off the bottom. There we go. I just wanted it to come down a little bit more. There we go. Now it looks like it's more down further. All right, time to add. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to come in and add my sentiment before we get any further, before I get the palms on there, because the sentiment's going to go right up here. And for that, I need my modern oval punch. We're going to use that. And a bit of white cardstock. Let's see. Will this one work? Yeah, okay. So we'll just go ahead and punch that out of white. Pop. And then I have the sentiment that says, sending sunshine your way. And we're going to stamp this in pecan pie, the darkest color we're using. So turn this around. And I'm going to stamp this kind of towards the bottom of this oval because we're actually going to cut the top off. So there we go. Sending sunshine your way. Of course, I'm getting ink on my fingers. I'm going to grab some hand sanitizer and just kind of make sure any ink that wants to go away goes away. All right, this is going to go at the top of this scene. So we'll just put some green glue on the bottom half. So this is going to come right in here. Oh, I got it a little bit crooked. That's okay. We're just going to go with it. And then I can come in and just slice off this top with my paper snips. So fun. All right, now let's add the palms to our trees. I'm going to put this first one in. Actually, let's see. Let's make sure we get 2 different ones for each because since now I know they're different. All right. There we go. Those 2 go together. These 2 go together. I'm going to do the one in back. I'm going to do the back one flat. So I'll just put some green glue on it. It's going to go all the way back here. It's off the edge a little bit. That's okay. And then we're going to grab some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I can find my minis. All right, my mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on each of the branches. They just barely fit. So there we go. And then we'll peel the backs off. And I'm going to put just a dab of green glue in the center. And then this can come in here. So there is, I don't like the way that tree looks. I'm glad it's in the back. It's, I don't know. I don't know. It'll look good when I get done. All right. Let's do this one. So we're going to put this one here. we're going to do the same thing. On this one, both of them, I'm going to pop up the branches. So just putting some teeny tiny mini dimensionals on the palms. And then a little tiny bit of green glue in the center. And we'll add this one just like this. Hold down that center just a little bit. And then the next one, we'll put those mini dimensionals on it again. And I just want to see where I'm going with this. Oh, that's too much. Maybe like this. Okay, that's wrong. Let's see if we can move this. It just looks funny. We can move it. Maybe. It's stuck to the tree trunk. Is what it's stuck to. There. Maybe that's a little better. Let's see. Oh, that's better. Better-ish. It drives me crazy when my original samples turn out way better than when I remake it. I almost threw my green glue away. Oh, what am I thinking? All right. Here we go. Pop that on there. There's our second palm tree. So we got 2 palm trees going down on there, just like that. And then we're going to add some grasses. So we're just add a little bit of grass by each tree. Just to kind of, I felt like it needed a grass. We needed a little grass under the trees. So, and these I'm just lining up the bottom along the edge. You can also, if that edge is a little bit flat, little bit loose, you can slide the grass under the edge just a little bit, which mine is fairly well stuck down now. So we'll just line it up there. There we go. And I'm going to put a little bit of grass over here. Let's see. I'm going to do a little. All right. I'm going to put just a little bit right here. We're going to cut that in just a minute. And then I'm going to put a bit in front of it. We're going to take this half over here and put it on the other side. This card's almost done, for real. For real, almost done. All right, put our grass in there. Whoops. Let's put a little more green glue on the grass. I was trying not to get too much, and I think I didn't get enough. There we go. Then we can come in and just snip off those edges, and then I can pull this one in, and I'm just going to put it like here just to kind of fill this in just a little bit there. I think that'll be cute. All right. And then we get to layer this up, and we're going to be golden. Hello. It's like sticking more to my sticky fingers. Time for more hand sanitizer. Sticking more to my sticky fingers than to the card. All right. So there's, oh, so pretty. All right, let's just cut off that grass. I'm going to leave the palm branches. I like those. They're sticking out a little bit, but that's okay. So then, where's my other pieces? Here they are. We have a crumb cake base and a piece of pecan pie. So the pecan pie is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And I'm just going to adhere my scene to that piece of pecan pie. Which I feel just really makes it pop. My edge is a little, I need to put a new cutting blade in. I've been doing so much cutting. There we go. And then, of course, the crumb cake is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to fold this in half and give it a good squish. And then we can add this to it. Now, I have some more samples using the Beach Day stamp set that are absolutely completely different than this. Like completely different. So you're definitely going to want to check them out. So here we go. There it is. Oh, isn't that a fun beach scene with the Beach Day dies primarily? I don't know. I love it. I don't know what you think because I'm not actually live. I can't see your comments. All right. Here's the card that I showed you last week when we did the paper piecing technique, and I did the different pattern paper on the surfboards. This one, I used a Stampin' Blend to color around the edges of the sand to bring out those 3 different pieces of sand. And the same thing, I used a little bit of the light or dark, I don't remember, Pool Party on the waves to pull out some of the darkerness of the waves. So we looked at that one last week. This one uses the Country Woods Designer Series paper, and I stamped the beach chair and the umbrella, and I colored them with Stampin' Blends. I added the paper just to the background, cut out the sentiment. It's kind of a different look. And then this next one, I love this one too. It's so pretty. So this one, I just stamped the lifeguard station, and then I colored it all with Stampin' Blends. It is on some Summer Splash, and then we have some of the Country Woods Designer Series paper in the background there. And then I stamped 2 surfboards, and I colored them with Stampin' Blends and cut them out and just added that Enjoy Today sentiment to it. And I don't know, there's something about those colors. Yeah, it just makes me so happy. I really like the Summer Splash with the Lemon Lime Twist, which is, again, here we have Lemon Lime Twist and the Summer Splash. And this surfboard right here is Lemon Lime Twist and Summer Splash. They just look great together. So there are my cards. I hope that you have enjoyed this fun watercolor technique. I hope that you will grab some of your die cuts and make some watercolor pieces and die cut them to create a really unique artsy looking look. All right, so that is it for today. I will be back next week, Tuesday. Well, not back, but there will be a new video next week, Tuesday. We are going to be doing a fun fold. So watch Monday afternoon for the supplies that you will need to make a fun fold with me on Tuesday. Those will be posted in the descriptions to the video, so you'll see an announcement of the video, and in the description it will tell you what supplies you need. I hope you will come join me as we make a really cool fun fold next week, Tuesday. I'll see you then. Have a great weekend.